images of Cardi B. Now, I do appreciate the fact that she went to the dentist. Praise the Lord. But prior to her, I mean, after her going to the dentist, she went other places. And she, I'm sorry, mother, you okay? After Cardi got her teeth fixed, she had, she went and she had some other enhancements that were done.
There's some other things fixed.
Did they enhance her?
Huh?
Today, I don't know her.
I think Cardi B is naturally a pretty girl.
She's a black girl.
I think she's Puerto Rican, or she's Dominican, or she's in that arena. But here's the thing. Now, naturally, I believe she's a pretty girl. I think the challenge, though, is that beauty in America, or more or less in our era now, is beauty that is enhanced. More or less, that if a girl has a natural size behind, or none at all, they got to go and put some implants in there to make it what it is. Or let me say it this, and I'm heading somewhere while y'all think I'm just playing. If a woman does not have a large chest, back in the day, girls used to put socks in their bras. Now they go out and get the real thing done. You understand? Back silicone. Saline, mother, is what you put in your eyes.
I watch Watch.
I thought it was silicone, but it's okay. They have both. Well, okay then, mother. Where you going? Okay. I thought
and saline.
Everybody that had contacts was like, well, they finna do something else with their contact juice now. So listen, by the time you finish digging through the decipher, you start to realize that the enhancements are things that are done to they have an angle, right? There's an angle. When I was in Detroit for revival once, I met a preacher that was in his 60s. He looked almost my age at the time. I was in my late 20s. And we were there and we were laughing and talking in the office. And I remember the pastor that I was visiting state to the gentleman. He said, "Man, you look good." He said, "Man, I'm telling you, I got to stay." He said, these were his words: "I have to stay young in order to keep things together." And so he said, "There's only," and then the pastor said, "There's only so much, Miss Clairol, you can do." Because he said, "What you gonna do when whatever you've dyed grows out?" And so this was before I was paying attention to the fact that we had men that were in their 60s, 70s, and some 80s were dyeing their hair more than their wives. But this was all because, again, the word that I mentioned before, competition. They're still trying to, there's a lot of wanting to be, right? And so then there is something that deals with healthcare. Since we're going to talk about self-esteem, let me just dig real deep. Self-esteem causes for this issue of a man and his posterity. If a man cannot be a man, or if a man cannot more or less do the things that men do at the optimum level, he's not a man. So in the competition is not with other men as much as it is with himself. So a man in his mind, if he does not feel like he's enough, he will go out and possibly purchase some of those blue pills that are in the market, or the purple pill, or whatever the pill is, whatever the color it is. And they will whatever the pill is, he will go out and purchase some things to help himself be enough. I'm gonna just leave that right there. This gonna be one of them crockpot type situations, because I can see now ain't nobody gonna ride with me. But I'm telling you, I've worked in the emergency room long enough to know that when I have a man in his 40s and 50s come into the emergency room with a heart attack because his heart exploded. Right. Because he took something that he shouldn't have taken, but he took it because he was trying to be enough.
Blood pressure.
Yeah, it lowered his blood pressure to the point it it arrested. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the text, since y'all don't want to talk to me about folks. There were some messages. Thank you, Mother Purtle. Brent back. There are some messages in this in this lesson here that we must pay attention to. One artist wrote, or more or less painted this portrait here of Leah and Rachel. And for those of you that cannot see, you have one there that's very favorable. You have another that does not appear to be the same. Right. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about the text. And again, we're coming from Genesis chapter 30, just in case. And see, and here is, and that is, thank you, Trevor. I'm glad you mentioned it. When we started talking about, whenever we talk about Leah in the scripture, we always talk about a person that has possibly a lazy eye, or the Bible said that she was tender-eyed, but the word tender also means weak. So that could mean that she could have vision impaired. So her eye could very well be in place and just can't see out of that eye, right? Yeah. Right. She could have, there are several variations how a person can have an eye injury and it not be known. But here's the thing that's interesting though. Whatever happened to her eye caused her to have an introspective look at herself. Right. That her eye caused her not to feel who she really was because of that injury. And so then, or because of that moment for her. Yeah. But I don't even want to call it handicap. It's something. We have to, because handicap may be too strong of a word.
Had nobody asked for her hand before.
Okay.
Had nobody asked for her, right? So she's still at home waiting.
Well, let me ask you this: if because we have women in our church right now, very successful, and they don't have tender eyes, but they're still single, and no one has asked for their hand, and so are we suggesting that someone not coming for you means something's wrong with you?
No.
We're not going to say that. And here's what's interesting: we'll never say that over the air. But when I tell you that this is the thought of some people, that because someone's not coming for them or someone's not checking for them, they feel like, this question of am I enough is raised.
And Jacob didn't see her first in the first place. Was that Jacob? He didn't see her first. He saw Rachel first.
It didn't matter if he saw her first or last. It's good that he didn't see her first, because if he'd have saw her first and fell in love with her, what would have happened when he saw Rachel? Right. It's better that.
I got a point.
Yeah. So the thing is that we talk all about this thing about Leah and Rachel, but I want to spend some time today talking about the messages that Leah said to herself. And these messages that she said to herself, because, really we want to say she was saying them to Jacob, but I don't think she was talking to Jacob. Get your Bible out then, since y'all are so smart, and let's take a look at Genesis chapter 29 and verse 32. What happened in Genesis chapter 29 and verse 32, Mother Lee, since you got your Bible out, what does the Bible say?
And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord has looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband will love me.
So the Lord looked upon her affliction, and her response was, now the Lord will, now my husband will love me.
She was using the child to get love.
Really? Oh, stop right there. We can't go far. We must pay attention to that. So let me raise a question. Are people having children for the man? Are women having children for the man to love them?
Yes.
Really?
And he still does. If he doesn't love it, so there is an inward thing that the love thing is. Your love is inside.
The inward thing for the man?
Your love is when a man meets a woman there are certain things, vice versa. There is something about that individual that's drawing to you. And you might have had these ideology about, I want this, that, or the other. But if that, whatever that is drawing to you, you forget about those other things. But if the man doesn't like you and you know, and they have a way of showing it, then you start to put, and saying you, but whomever, start to putting a plan together. I call that to trap them.
Oh.
So you have not done anything but trapped yourself.
Okay, so you're saying a woman will make an attempt or put a plan in place to trap a man?
And a man will do the same thing. They get women pregnant when they know they don't like them.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Men trap women by getting them pregnant?
To tie up, to keep up, to keep up with and all that kind of
Now,
thing.
Mother, we did not want to go into all of that.
Well,
but y'all,
I thought I put it out there.
you're gonna go and put it out. You just keeping it real. Okay, so let me ask you this. This is Genesis 29 and 32, and we have yet to reach this place called where our text today dealing with the mandrakes, because we're gonna get with those here in just a little bit. But I think that this is here's the irony. The irony is, she said the Lord has looked upon her affliction. Mm-hmm. What was her affliction?
Tender.
Okay, so you don't think that her affliction was her being not desired? Mm-hmm. You think?
Tender.
You don't think that her affliction was she may have been in the other room while her father was talking to Jacob and saying, I got you. Thank you for working for Rachel these 7 years, but you're going to take this one first.
Now, that was culture.
That was culture?
Culture. You couldn't get the younger girl until the older one was married or out of the way.
But why was her dad so interested in sending her away?
Because he knew she was tender-eyed, mm-hmm. and he knew that she was not going to be the first choice of too many people, and mm-hmm. and had not been a choice for anybody up until that time.
So if she had not been a choice, what kind of impact was that having on her?
I'm sure she was feeling some kind of way. Mm-hmm. She's thinking, oh, Lord, I'm getting old. My biological clock, if she knew anything about one, mm-hmm. is ticking, ticking a little loud and a little hard.
So then let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So then when we look at this same thing today, are we dealing with people, both men and women, that are wrestling with this clock and racing something or chasing something that is not necessarily your destiny, but something that you're assuming to be real and true? See, there's a lot of, you ever heard some people say that a woman need to be married and have kids by the time she turned 30?
I've heard that.
Mm-hmm. And so then if a woman has to be married, if she has to be married by the time she turned 30 and have her children by the time she turned 30, what kind of pressure does that put on the woman?
A lot.
Wouldn't know, didn't have any.
And herein lies the thing that's interesting. We don't pay attention to the fact that in the church, to be successful, you have to be married. Have y'all paid attention to that yet? That in the church, we have yet to allow a person to just be single and satisfied, and it'll be okay.
And may I say pressure, go back to the pressure point. I was not pressured because at 9 years, I had not had been pregnant. They've never been pregnant. Wasn't thinking nothing about it. He was satisfied, I was satisfied. But folks, and I remember them asking me often, "You not pregnant yet?" I said, "Do I look like it?" But they would push you into that. I not knowing that in the sight of them, that was an abnormality. Something was going on with me. And I didn't know that. I didn't have that kind of sense. All I know, I was happy.
You were happy without having children.
I was happy without having children.
But at least you were married. If I'm talking about the person's,
looking at it, the world was not happy at me not having children.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord fixed that.
People say people, and Smith is hitting it right there. If a man is not married by a certain time, people start raising questions at him too.
Yes, I got two questions.
And what are the two questions? I dare you to call it out.
Who is he going with? And is he gay?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then if a man is not married, he got to be gay. Or he's either gay or he hoish.
Yeah, one of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two. So he's either gay, but it couldn't be that he waiting on the Lord to send him the right one.
Then couldn't be.
Couldn't be. Couldn't be. Couldn't be. So then let me ask you this. So then if a woman is not married, what are they saying about her? They're not calling her a lesbian.
They might be.
Yes, they are.
Oh, they are?
They calling her that, or old maid, she can't get nobody, she not, she doesn't look right, whatever. All kinds of stuff people say. But one of my sisters, my sister that you met that was at the hospital, she had a way about herself. She always has something crazy to say. And we were talking about this lady that worked in the library. And she was not an attractive woman. She was kind of big and tall, and look, and this folks say dark skinned. And
she was proportionate.
She was just an odd lady. And so I said, is she married? And so my sister said, girl, women like that are always married. And so she said, I will have a good husband too.
We're gonna have to edit that line right there. That line right there.
She said, and then those of us out here trying to keep ourselves together, trying to be cute, can't find nobody. And if we do, they somewhere out here cheating on us and doing a whole lot of stuff, cheating on us with her. Will leave us for her.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I asked that question because there are several areas in our community today where I hear men say she trapped me. I hear men say that she trying to put a baby on me. But the question becomes, how can somebody put something on you when you can prevent that from happening?
Thank you.
So if you don't,
person with ill intention.
Who has ill intention?
The man.
Well,
he wants to enjoy that, probably not in the dark, not with the paper sack over your head, whatever that means. But when a
paper sack over your head.
Yeah,
well, this is the wrong church.
When a man, and this is talking about somebody else said. When a man does not really want you to be public. He wants to always keep you in the house and come to see you, but never to parade you before his peers, anybody. He got the wrong motive. He's enjoying what he's doing as long as he can do it there. But to bring you out and say, oh, this is my lady, and blah, blah, he doesn't want to do that. Then if you find out that he messed around and get you pregnant, oh, she tried. No, you trapped yourself.
Right. Well, see,
because you had an ulterior motive or not doing the right thing. You didn't bring no marriage license home to us. Okay, we're gonna get married.
But hold on though. So if y'all are saying that, here's my concern. We have put so much emphasis on marriage and sex that people are getting married just to have sex. You do know that.
Yeah.
You do know that because we have set marriage up to be only about sexual partners. Tell me where companionship comes in.
Right.
Where does companionship come in? Where does friendship come in? Because people are only having because the church has put so much emphasis on sex and marriage, people are not friends, and so the relationships don't last long, or if they do last long, they're just existing because you got some person on the other side getting their help from somebody on the outside. So they're either getting friendship or they're getting some sex on the outside because they're sick of who they got at the house.
Are you looking at what you're saying?
I know exactly what I'm saying.
Before they got to the sexual thing, They were supposed to be making friends, being a friend,
Nope.
and building
No,
compatibility, all of that before all of that happened. So you don't skip some lessons.
But what lessons did the church teach?
It's better to marry than to burn.
The thing about it is that let me give y'all some truth. Because see, this is why I have to say it the way that I'm saying it. First of all, we are living in a sexual culture that is advancing more sexually than we are spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say it again. We're living in a sexual culture where now you can go on regular TV and see more skin than you did in the 50s and 60s. Back in the day, media didn't show anything. If a woman had a bra on in the 50s and 60s, that was considered pornography. Now you can see it all.
On the gun who have become out of them.
So women are not covered. Right?
Shame.
Men, we don't want to run from the reality that they're selling men's pants so tight that you can tell how much money they got in their pocket. You understand what I'm saying? And so while it is that we call it fashion, I don't call it fashion. I think that we have to be careful in understanding that what we have done today we have sold the wrong message.
Yes.
And because we have sold the wrong message, the challenge then comes into play because now we got people that are getting with folk just because of what their assumptions are. They assume that they must be this, they must be that. At the end of the day, what do you have? Right. All you have is something, watch this, that's physical.
Right.
There's no spirituality there. There's no friendship there. There's nothing that's going to carry that relationship forward other than one night. That's all you got.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got. All you got is one night. And even if that one night lasts, as some will say, I'm good. I can have that one night every night. At the end of the day, you got to go to work though. When you finish having that one night, you got to go to work. It's the same with the pornography stuff that men get entangled with the pornography stuff. Look for things on the TV screen that these folk get paid millions of dollars to do on camera. And you got somebody that you ain't even half working to pay the light bill for, and you asking them to perform as if they're on the screen. The challenge has to be, I'm just going to talk about it just to touch a little bit. The challenge is this. We got to be very much careful to understand that what you're seeing on the screen, you act like you want it at home. But if that be the case, who do you really want?
Right.
Do you want somebody that's going to invite other partners in and they do all of this and that and so on and so forth in your face at the same time? That's really what I would call monogamy. That's foolishness. But at the end of the day, this is the thing that we claim we want. But my question for you is, are you enough? That's at the core. That's at the core of this. Are you enough? Are you enough? Do you feel like you're enough? Or do you feel like Leah, that after you have your first kid from a man that didn't want you in the first place, are you saying maybe now he'll love me?
No.
Do you say that? Do you say that to the woman that you told her that you have on protection and you took it off just because you wanted a pretty baby mama? Are you after you have the baby? Are you enough? I think I'll move on now, since I'll wake up here a little later. Second thing she said to herself was that look at Genesis chapter 29 and verse 34. Keep going.
29:34. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Mm-hmm. Therefore was his name called Levi.
Yes. And so after the third child, she said, now he's going to be joined with me. Now she's looking for something deeper.
Okay, now when he joined,
what was he before? He didn't stay. He didn't stay. He didn't stay. See.
So join me. He gonna move in for good.
Leah's interpretation of marriage was for her to have her own husband. She's not buying into polygamy. She's cool with having a handmaid that, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, whenever she get tired of him, she can send him over to the handmaid. She didn't want him going over to Rachel's house.
Right.
Now he can go everywhere else. Now hold on, sister. Hold on. I just want to talk a little bit. I just want to talk and ask a question. Because y'all have messed around and let me get here. I'm trying my best to get through these slides, but y'all keep pushing me. If in fact, do you have a Rachel in your current relationship? You ain't got to put that in the chat box, because I'm sure y'all gonna talk to each other now. But I'm talking about a Rachel in your current relationship is you don't mind your spouse going to such and such place, but he better not go over there.
Nope.
Oh, I'm going to sit here and sip this tea. Oh my God. Because listen to this now. Leah was fine with him being local, but he better not travel. Don't you go outside the farm. You better stay over here. You better not leave his house. You better not go nowhere. Watch this now. Now, the thing is that she's had 3 sons for him. And out of this time that she's had these 3 sons, she went from now he'll love me to now he's going to be joined with me. So she's hoping that since I got 3 for him, I'm going to keep him. Is that the truth?
You keep putting everything.
Nope.
Why would
emphasis in the wrong place?
Why would tell me why the emphasis is always on the children? Do you think, well, all right then, since y'all don't want to say nothing, do y'all
let me just say this. Back in the day, back then, the children were really seen as children. They were really a promise. Okay. We don't see children now as being a promise per se. You know, we see them as being, well, maybe like what she thought, maybe I can make him stay if I have a child. But no child has ever made it. There have been very few children who have made a man stay who didn't want to stay.
He didn't want to stay, right?
Okay. He had to have some degree of wanting to stay in order for him to stay. He still might fool around a little bit if he didn't really want to be there.
Oh, he's gonna come back.
Right. And he'll stay only if he wants to stay. But then we have some folks out here, and I don't think I really saw a whole lot of that until I maybe came to Memphis. And I had been in LA and then some other places too. But people who are saying they're having kids like they are applying for a job so they can get a check. You know, and then I know that there are people, especially in the entertainment world and in the world where guys have big dollars and people say, "Ooh, I see him coming. That'll be a good child support check." So they have a child with him just for the check. And it's like, come on now. But I don't even know what the question was now. Well, see, that just came to my mind.
You see, I'm gonna need y'all to stop getting upset because y'all get so upset. Okay, now watch this, because there's a conversation going on in the chat box that we have to raise for those that may not be able to see it, and that is this: many of you are saying that that the man has to want to stay.
Yeah.
Okay, he has to want to stay. Here's the thing that's interesting though. What type of experience do you think Leah was trying to give Jacob when you read these two statements of hers?
She was trying to get the best that she had because Leah was for real.
She was going all in. Now let me kind of take you to another step here and kind of help you understand something. If a person really desires you, they're going to give you their whole self. As Brother Joe said on Wednesday, Leah put her whole soul in the bed.
Right.
Her whole soul. She didn't leave nothing out. Watch this. She didn't leave nothing on the table either. She did everything she could to watch this, to keep him in the house. This is where I'm not going to have a lot of good company with the sisters, but I'm going to tell you something. There's this. It's very interesting how the competition that y'all don't want to talk about is putting their whole soul in the bed, because you done messed around and sent your husband out thirsty. And you got somebody willing to give him everything he wants to drink and then some, because they got a pitcher waiting on him, because they know who he is when he gets there. Can I pause there and give you a description? First of all, Jacob is the son of promise, and Leah knows who he is.